Hi everyone, thanks for clicking on the video. This is Rachelle. I just came in today to tell you that I was pulled over by the police today. And I was so very terrified with everything that's going on in the world and the last couple days. Let me just tell you the story. So today I got up and I was feeling better. If you watch my videos, you know that I've recently had a spine surgery and that I've been having up and down days and literally times when I've been in the bed for almost up to 2 weeks, just in pain and just not feeling like doing anything. So when I have an up day, I want to get out and I want to enjoy the summer. So this morning I woke up, I rolled over, I felt good. So I just ran and took a shower, hurry up and threw on some clothes and got in my car, and I was going to go for a ride. Just drive. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to be out in the air with my windows down and just smelling just the summer. So I live in Ohio, and in Ohio, you can just drive, or in the city that I live in, just a few short miles and you'll be like in farm country. And it's just beautiful and it smells good. So I had driven about 45 minutes from where I live, and I was just driving and just enjoying the day. Now, I turned the corner and I saw a police officer, and I didn't think anything of it. He got in the lane to the left of me, and he was riding like a car length behind me. I continued to drive. I was listening to music. I wasn't worried because, I don't have any, tickets, or I haven't ever been in trouble, so I wasn't worried. I noticed that the police officer changed lanes, and then he was behind me. He drove behind me for a couple blocks, and then he turned on his siren and put his lights on, and I pulled over. So he came up to my car and he told me that the reason why he pulled me over is because the license plates little thing was covering up my sticker. And he said that when he ran my license, it came back that it was suspended. So I was like, suspended? And then he said yes. And I was like, for what? I didn't even know that it was suspended. And he said it was for non-insurance compliance. Basically what he explained is that Ohio does a periodic check of insurance, and it came back that I didn't have any insurance. And right as he said it, what I realized is that I hadn't paid my insurance. Now let me explain what's going on. When you get surgery, anyone who's ever had it, you get so many bills. You have bills coming in from everything, your follow-up appointments, and then you get these insurance statements from your insurance company. So what has been happening is my son has been bringing in the mail, and by me being in bed, I've just been telling him to stack it up on the kitchen table where I have a stack of mail. So my Progressive insurance, I pay online, and I guess I just simply, literally forgot it. Now, I'm pretty sure the Progressive sent me something telling me, a reminder, ma'am, you haven't paid your insurance. And I'm pretty sure the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles sent me something, and it's probably sitting down there on the stairs, on the table. So I didn't make any bones about it. I explained all of that to the officer, about my surgery and me just not looking in my mail. So he tells me that he's going to go back to his car and see what type of suspension it was, because by rights, he could tow my car. So he walks away, and I'm sitting there and I am terrified. I'm thinking, oh my God, I am like 45 minutes from my home. I'm out in the suburb. If he tows my car, how am I going to get home? Am I going to be able to reach someone to come and get me? Blah, blah, blah. So he walks back up to my car and he asks me, if there's someone that I could call to come and get my car because he's not going to tow me. So I said I can call my son. Now all the time I'm sitting there and I'm just so scared. I'm just scared because I'm just thinking, if something goes wrong, is he going to get mad at me? Am I going to be hurt? I'm terrified. I'm sweating profusely. So when he came back up, I called my son. I told him what happened, and I said, please come and get me. Leave right now. My son says, no problem. He says, where are you? And now, y'all, I am so nervous. I don't even know where I am. I asked the officer because he's standing there. I said, what street are we on? And he tells me the 2 streets. So when I told my son, I didn't actually give him directions. I just told him the 2 streets, and I hang up. The officer walks back to his car, and he's in there for a while. Now, I think about it, and I say, you know what? I need to call my son back and give him the main streets, give him better directions, because he started out, but he really didn't have the best directions. He said he was going to use his GPS. So when I look down on my phone is completely black. It will not turn on. No matter what I do, I plugged it into my charger, thinking it just went dead. It would not come on. Around this time, the police officer gets out and he comes back and he says, did you call someone? And I said, yes. I called my son. And I said, but sir, I wasn't able to give him the correct directions. I'm so nervous. I know I didn't give him correct directions and my phone is not working. So he says, well, I'll call him for you. So I say, you'll do that for me? And he says, yes. He says, give me his number. So, I said, well, I got a slight problem. And then he said, what is that? And I said, I really don't know it. I said, my son's, I'm so nervous. I'm still scared. I said, my son's phone number is like programmed into my phone, but I don't know it by heart. So I said, okay, but you can call my daughter and she will call my son and tell him what's going on. So he says, no problem. I give him my daughter's phone number. He tells me, hold on, I'm going to walk back to my car and get in so I can hear because he's standing in traffic. So he gets in the car, he calls my daughter, and then I notice he gets back out and he walks up to the car and he says, your daughter wants to speak to you. So he gives me his cell phone. And my daughter's like, Mom, are you okay? And I said, yes. He's being very nice to me so far, nothing. Now he's standing there, I said, and he's trying to help me. He's not going to tow my car. So I said, just please call Scott. The officer is going to give you information and you give that information to Scott. Scott is my son. So he goes back to his car, talks to my daughter, and then he comes back up to my car again. And he just stands there and talks to me. Now, right about this time, I am shaking and trembling. I'm so scared that something is going to go wrong. I'm wondering if my son doesn't get here, what happens then if he takes too long. And then his phone rings. And he says, hold on. And he walks back to his police car. And then he comes back and he tells me that was my son. That my son said that he's definitely on his way. He's about 20 minutes away. And he just stands there and talks to me. So I tell him everything. I tell him that I'm scared, why I'm scared with everything that's going on in the world. He tells me that he understands that in the situation that's happened in the last couple of days, that it's like a judgment call. And I think what he meant is when you go in, you have to, assess the situation. And, he said, take a moment and figure out, what's going on before you act. And I told him that, I agree. And he told me that when situations like that happens, it makes it bad for cops like him. And what I must say about this police officer is from the moment that he walked up to my window, he was very kind. He treated me with respect. He was very courteous. And he also treated me like a lady. He talked to me directly. He bent down in the car And he just was shooting the breeze. He actually told my son, when my son asked him if my mother is okay, he said, yeah, we're just standing here chit-chatting and shooting the breeze. And so as I talked to him, I just let him know that I was scared. He basically understood. And, I asked him how long he had been a police officer. He said 9 years, and he told me, some things about him. And we just talked. So eventually, I think he could tell that I was still very worried because, I was just rambling on because I was wondering, oh my God, how long is it going to take my son to get here? So about this time, he said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I want you to go ahead and pull into Dollar General because I was pulled over right in front of a Dollar General. He said, I want you to go in, do a little shopping, calm yourself down because I was scared, and I think he could tell. And he said, just cool down, get you something cool to drink, come back out, get in your car, cut on your air, and just wait for your son. So I said, I'm thinking he's going to let me pull away. It's going to be okay. This is all going to come out. He had written me a citation, and here that is. Wait. That's the citation that I got. He told me that all I had to do was bring, once I call my insurance company, call Progressive, and get it reinstated, that I just bring it to the precinct. And he didn't think that I would even owe anything because, I don't have any tickets or traffic violations. He said it's just a matter of me showing my insurance. So I had my hand on like the car door. You know how you put your hand up on the car door? And he like put his hand over my hand and assured me that everything was going to be fine. Don't worry about it. I said, okay, I can pull away now. And he said, yes. And before I pulled away, he was smiling and talking and just trying to make sure that I was okay. Just really, really trying to make sure that I was okay. So I sat there and I thought about it. I said, you know what? This is, I have to tell him how I feel. So I just told him thank you, with everything that's going on in the world, just thank you. Here I am, a black woman, a traffic violation, by rights. He could tow my car. I could be standing there in the heat, but he didn't. He saw me as a person that made a mistake. And, he was saying, just get it fixed. We all make mistakes. And I knew that he saw me as just a scared lady. So while I was sitting there, I was thinking about all this, and I felt overwhelmed because this is the first positive experience that I've had with a police officer, and it was more than positive. He just really took the time to make sure that I was okay. So I asked him his name. And, he told me his name was Officer D. Clark. And again, I thanked him. And then he just stood there and he smiled at me. He was a white officer. And he had a little buzz haircut and the beard. And he was just really nice. So I said, you know what, Officer Clark, this calls for a little bit more than a thank you. And then I said, can I give you a hug? And he said, sure. So I told him, I said, now, I got to open up the car door. It's okay, right? And he laughed and he said, yeah. And so when I got out, I kind of said, I don't want to hug you. I don't want him to think that I'm reaching for his gun or anything. I said, you hug me. So he bent down and he hugged me. And we stood there for a little bit, and then he hugged me again. And then we hugged about 4 times. I don't know what to do with all this, y'all. I really don't. So he pretty much, we stood there and talked a few minutes, and then he said, you go get cooled down now. And I said, thank you again. I got in my car. I pulled into Dollar General, sat there for quite a few minutes. I was fumbling with everything on my car seat. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was trying to put my phone thing back together because he had tried to help me get the phone started. I forgot to tell you that. He was messing with the phone. He even took my phone back to his police car and he tried to put it on his charger. He sat there for a minute trying to charge it. He said it didn't. He came back and told me he didn't even light up. And this just experience was just positive. Now, before I pulled off, while me and Officer Clark was standing there, I told him that I did YouTube vlogs. And I had told him that I wish my phone worked so I could just film him, saying thank you. But since my phone didn't work, I told him that what I was going to do is I was going to do a blog and I was going to, just tell about my experience with him and just, say that all police officers are not bad. I just wish there were more officers like Officer Clark because, like I said earlier in the video, from the moment this officer walked up to my car, he treated me with so much respect and like a person. And as a black person, that's all we want. We just want you to see us as people. And that we're not all criminals and we're not all bad. And I got that today. So Officer Clark, I told you that I was going to do this YouTube video about you. So I just wanted to say thank you for being kind to me. Thank you for treating me like a lady. And thank you for just looking at me. You leaned down in my car and we just sat there and we talked about everything. And I've never had that before. So I appreciate it. And I wish some of your colleagues would be as kind as you were to me. And I say thank you again. And with that, everyone, I'm going to get out of here. I have had a rough day. And it wasn't anything that he did. I was scared of him. I was terrified of him. So I'm going to need a nap and a cold drink. And if I drank adult beverages, I think I would need one of those, but I don't. So I'm just going to lay in my bed and I'm going to thank God that this turned out the way that it did. I'm going to thank God that he sent an officer that was nice. You guys have a great evening. Bye-bye now.